Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about the pulmonary function test. So this first slide, this I think everyone must be aware of this table. This we used to study while preparing for PG exam in Mudit Khanna. So this is about the pulmonary function test results. What is happening in obstructive and what is happening in restrictive diseases. So we have few parameters like forced expiratory volume in 1 second, in first second, that is FEV1. Then we have FVC, forced vital capacity. Then we have FEV1 by FVC ratio. Then we have TLC, we have DLC, total lung capacity, and we have DLC. So today our aim is to learn what is FEV1, what is FVC, what are the other parameters, what does they mean, and why they are decreasing in obstructive, and why they are there is a difference in their recording in the findings in obstructive and restrictive. What is actually happening in obstructive and what is actually happening in restrictive. So we will start our topic today. So first of all, what is FVC? FVC is the forced vital capacity. See, we had discussed it in obstructive, FVC will be decreased, but in restrictive, it will be decreased less than 80% predicted. So it will be more important in restrictive that it will be decreased less than 80% predicted. What is FVC? FVC is the forced vital capacity. For the forced vital capacity, we should know what is vital capacity. So vital capacity is the maximum amount of air a person can expel from the lungs after maximum inhalation. What we had told, after the maximum inhalation, after the maximum inspiration, how much amount of air a person can expel from the lungs. That is your vital capacity. And vital capacity, or we also say that vital capacity is the sum of expiratory reserve volume, that is ERV, plus tidal volume, TV, plus inspiratory reserve volume. Okay. So what is vital capacity? This is the maximum amount of air a person can expel from the lungs after maximum inhalation. Then it is a sum of ERV plus TV plus IRV. What is ERV? ERV is the volume of air that can be forcefully exhaled after normal resting expiration. What we had told, volume of air that can be forcefully exhaled after normal resting expiration. We can see in this diagram. We will see it in the diagram later. Then what is IRV, inspiratory reserve volume? This is the amount of air that can be forcefully inhaled after a normal tidal volume. See, what is important in this, in expiratory reserve volume and in inspiratory reserve volume, this is the forceful action. Means ERV is the forcefully exhale. We are exhaling forcefully after the normal resting expiration, and IRV is the forceful inhalation after the normal tidal volume. What is tidal volume? Tidal volume is the amount of air you are exhaling and inhaling during one respiratory cycle. Okay. So see this diagram. Tidal volume, what is tidal volume? Tidal volume is the volume of air you are inhaling or exhaling in the one cardiac cycle. Okay. Then we had told that what is expiratory reserve volume? That is volume of air that is you are forcefully exhaling after a normal resting expiration. And then inspiratory reserve volume, the volume of air you're forcefully inhaling or inspired after the tidal volume. Okay. And vital capacity is the sum of TV plus ERV plus IRV. That is what we used to say, that ERV normally it is 1.2 liter. Tidal volume normal is 0.5 liter and IRV normal is 3 liter. So combination in adding all the three values, we get the vital capacity, that is 6 liter. Okay. So this is about the vital capacity. So what is forced vital capacity? This is the So what is vital capacity? Vital capacity is the maximum amount of air a person can expel from the lungs after maximum inhalation. When this maximum amount of air a person can expelled, that is happening forcefully, this is forced vital capacity. When we are doing it forcefully. So what it is that after taking maximum inspiration, we have to hold a breath for a second and then blows out as hard as much as we can into a spirometer. Since we are blowing out forcefully, therefore it is known as forced vital capacity that we had told in the initial part. Okay, so this is the forced vital capacity. What is FEV1? See, what is the full form? Forced expiratory volume in first second. By the name we can, by the name itself it is suggesting what it is. FEV1 means the amount of air blows out forcefully during first second. Okay. Post expiratory, in the expiration, what we used to do, we used to blow out the air. So the amount of air blows out forcefully during first second is the FEV1. And normally, in the normal person, 75 to 80% of total forced vital capacity, total FVC, blows out during the first second. This is happening in the normal persons. And normally, FEV1 is equal to 4 liter, its quantity. Then comes the ratio. See, FEV1 by FVC, we had told, we had told that FEV1 normal is 4 liter, whereas FVC normal is 5 liter. So FEV1 by FVC means 4 by 5. And this ratio is determined by the caliber of the airway. Okay. So this ratio is determined by the caliber of airway. So if airways would be normal, then already we had discussed that 75 to 80% of the forced vital capacity will blow out during first second. But just imagine if airway would be narrow, whether the similar amount of air you can blow out during the first second, no, because already when we expire, our airways got narrowed, the airway got narrowed. So already airways are narrowed, and while expiration, the surface area of the airways become low, get reduced. So there will be low forced vital capacity blowing out during the first second. Okay. This is the vital capacity we had discussed. Then TLC. What is TLC? TLC is the total lung capacity. By the name we can say easily, na? What it is that this is the maximum volume of air which our lungs can accommodate after maximum inspiration. Total lung capacity means when we inspire, air will go into the lungs. So that air, lungs has to accommodate that layer into it. So the maximum volume of air which the lungs can accommodate after maximum inspiration is your total lung capacity. Then comes the DLCO. What DLCO is, it helps to determine the lungs' ability to transfer gas from inspired air through the bloodstream. Okay. DLCO, it helps to determine the lungs' ability to transfer gas from inspired air through the bloodstreams. Okay. Then what is FEF? Forced expiratory flow rate at 25 to 75%. This is the average rate of flow during middle half of the forced vital capacity test. Okay. So these are the parameters. First, we were trying to understand what is vital capacity, and we should have a clear concept in our mind. What is TLC? See, by the name also we can suggest now what is TLC, total lung capacity. When we will measure the capacity, when something is going inside it. So when air will go inside it, when lungs are loaded with the air, at that time, how much air lungs can accommodate. That should be the capacity of the lungs. So that is the total lung capacity. What is FEV1, forced expiratory volume in 1 second. Okay. Now, see, in your slide, what we are saying, this is the normal lung. Normal lung having normal parenchyma and having normal airways. This red one are the This red one are airways. Yeah, this red one is our airways, these four, and all other are the what it is. It is the structure of the lung, that is lung parenchyma. This is normal. This is the lungs of the normal person. Okay. Now imagine if a person is having now imagine just if a person is having obstructive disease, means if a person is having obstructive disease, then what would be the structure of the lungs? See, what is happening in this lung? This thing in this lung, what we are saying of this is the obstructed lung, means the airway become obstructed, like in chronic bronchitis or any other reason. So when airway will become obstructed, so airway will become obstructed, so airway will become narrow. So, and the air is we are inhaling the air regularly. We that inspired air. So during inspiration, air goes in. Okay, but whatever. See what is happening during inspiration. Air goes in. The airway will become airways expand. When airway expands, so air can easily go in. But during expiration, airway already become narrow. Airway used to the surface area of the airways will become low. So less amount of air will go out. Okay. So in obstructed lung, there is a small or narrow airways. The parenchyma will become less dense and there will be increased airway resistance because of the obstruction. Okay. So in the obstruction, what do you think? Patient will be having more problem in the inspiration or expiration? See, what is happening? Airways are narrow. When we inspire, air will go in, and in during inspiration, our lungs normally used to get expand. Okay, but during expiration, during expiration, the surface area of the airways normally will become low. So already there is an obstruction. Surface area is also getting reduced. So during expiration, what will happen? There is not enough space for the air to go out. Okay, so this is about in the obstructed lungs. That's why patient will be having more problem in the expiration as comparative to the inspiration. Okay, so what we had told, in the obstructed lung, the airway are getting narrowed. Parenchyma is less dense. Parenchyma is less dense, and there is increased airway resistance. So, as we had told that during inspiration, air goes in and resistance of airflow is less because of the expansion of the airways. Whereas during expiration, airway become narrow and there will be difficulty in expiration. Okay. Now see this diagram. This is the lungs of the patient having restrictive diseases. What is happening in the restrictive lung disease? Airways are normal. Whereas on the other hand, what we had studied in obstructive, airways becoming narrow, but in restrictive, airways are normal. In restriction, what is happening? That the parenchyma of the lung structure is becoming very dense. Because of the dense parenchyma, because it is getting fibrous, it is becoming very stiff. That's why patient will be having problem in the expansion of the lungs, or there will be difficult expansion, or we can say there is a restriction of the expansion of the lungs. So what is main problem in restrictive? That airways are normal, but the lung parenchyma is getting stiffed or fibrosed or very dense. And because of this, lung cannot be expanded. Whereas in the obstructive lung, in the obstructed lung, what is happening? Airway is becoming narrow, lung, parenchyma becoming less dense, and there is increased airway resistance. Okay. Now we will see. Now you just think, if we will talk about, just see this diagram. This is normal obstructive and restrictive diagram. If we will talk about the stiffness, where, so now we can say where would be the stiffness will be more. We can say easily by seeing the diagram that stiffness will be more in the restrictive lung diseases as comparative to the obstructive lung disease and normal lung, because there is a the parenchyma of the lung become fibrosed or dense. Then if we will see the compliance, what is compliance? Compliance means the distensibility of the lung to expand. Distensibility of the lung means how much it can expand. So whether obstructive lung can be expanded well or restrictive, obviously obstructive. Since restrictive, the parenchyma is becoming very dense, so it cannot be expanded now. Okay. Then if we'll see the TLC, that is total lung capacity. What we had told, what is total lung capacity? Maximum amount of air a lung can accommodate. Okay, after maximum inspiration. So whether a lung can accommodate air in the fibrosed lung, or where it can, or whether it can accommodate much air in the large lung or in the obstructive lesion. So clearly we had seen that in restrictive, parenchyma is almost becoming very dense, becoming fibrosed, becoming stiff. So lungs cannot accommodate the air in it. That's why TLC is also decreased in restrictive. Now we will discuss about the vital capacity. Vital capacity will be decreased in both obstructive and restrictive. Okay. Why in obstructive? In obstructive because of the airway obstruction, and in restrictive because of the lungs became stiffened. That's why. Okay. Now we will talk about the residual volume. Residual volume, what you people are can think that where residual volume will be increased. Obviously, it will be, residual volume is the amount of air that is left in the lungs after the inspiration or after the maximum inspiration. So after the maximum expiration, okay, sorry, not inspiration, after the expiration. So it, as we can say in the, see in the diagram, that air will be left, residual volume will be more in the obstructive, whereas it will be less in the restrictive. Since lungs may, in lungs, in restrictive disease, lungs parenchyma get almost frozen, almost fibrosed. Okay. Now this is the, these are the mnemonic. Before this, we have to study. Yeah, we will study this. What is actually happening in obstructive lung disease? That every inspiration, see, just imagine, okay, the in obstructive, what we had told, the airways are getting narrowed and parenchyma is less dense. Okay, and there is increased airway resistance. Okay, just imagine that diagram when we are going to uh, read this slide. So during every inspiration, air goes in, and during expiration, less air is going out because of the obstruction. With the expiration, less air is going out, and with after every inspiration, some amount of air is getting trapped inside it because of the obstruction. There is no enough space. And when this condition, when this situation will continues for a long period of time, so lungs will be, there will be more and more air will is present in the lungs. Since after every inspiration, some amount of air is getting trapped. So after, when this situation will persist for a long period of time, so lungs will be full with the air. Okay. Then what will happen? More and more air is in the lungs now. So lungs will become large. When lungs will become large, that's why we had told that the parenchyma is less dense. Now parenchyma is less dense, lungs become large. So what will happen? Chest wall lifted outward. Chest wall will get lifted outwardly. and it looks like barrel shaped chest, which we used to study. So when patient will inspire, already lungs are large in the size due to trapped air, and now more air is coming in, so it will lead to collapse of the airways. Okay, this is happening in the obstructive lung disease. Whereas in restrictive, what is happening? We had discussed, when we inspire, airways are normal. When we inspire, so what is happening? The lung parenchyma is not able to expand. Lung are not able to expand since lungs become fibrous. So there will be stiff lung when there will be no expansion of the lungs. Okay. So this is about the obstructive and the restrictive disease. Okay. And for the better explanation of all the diseases, we will study later in the further videos.